Correct? Yeah, wow. Older than some people in the room.
50 years working now.
50 years working,
Yeah.
okay?
Yeah.
First thing I want to do is give Kat, and I got to take off my glasses because I can't read with them. First thing is a plaque in appreciation and recognition of your 16 years of dedicated service to the residents of St. Lucie County and members of the agency. Best of luck in your retirement.
Nice.
You're welcome. Good. Yeah.
There we go.
Just look everywhere.
Just look everywhere.
Yeah, just
One
look in
more.
all directions.
So we have this plaque, and then of course we have your retirement ID, which gets you in the,
All right.
office anytime you're needed. It gets you in the gym. Yeah, anytime you're needed, it gets you in the gym, as well as it might get you out of a ticket in South Carolina. But that's not a given. No, it won't. Huh?
What, get her out of South Carolina?
Yeah, a ticket.
Absolutely.
Absolutely.
They don't require driver's licenses there.
Special representative.
Out of the 16 years that Kathy's been here, just in the last week, I received a letter that really highlights your career. And I put it, I gave it to Tanya to say I was going to read it at Quarterly Awards. Of course, you won't be here at Quarterly Awards, so I want to read it today. And this is from the attorney from the Martin County Sheriff's Office. It said, "Dear Sheriff Mascara, please allow this opportunity to share my thoughts regarding the character, professionalism, and work ethic of Kathy LaValle, who, as you know, serves as a paralegal for your agency." I didn't know that. I've been very fortunate to work with Kathy ever since I took the job. And that's another thing. He left the state attorney's office after 20 years, maybe? 25. He retired from the state attorney's office and went to work general counsel for the Martin County Sheriff's Office. And it's totally different environment. Totally different. Since I took the job as legal advisor for the Martin County Sheriff's Office in April of 2020, because law enforcement agencies within the judicial circuit assist each other, I often sought out her help. She always extended her help without reservation. Her insight is valued and her work product is exemplary. She has done a great service on behalf of law enforcement. I trust her judgment and her legal opinions. Kathy has impressed everyone she works with in the legal profession. She has a profound knowledge regarding the law and legal procedures. What is most impressive, in my humble opinion, is the professionalism and grace she carries with her in her role for the St. Lucie County Sheriff's Office. Kathy is the type of professional who brings great credit to her employer, that's me. I wanted you to know that. Those outside your agency appreciate her work and are impressed by her professionalism, demeanor, diligence, and grace. And I couldn't have said that better. Thank you for your interview. And I'm going to actually give you this letter. So the best part of today's events is we have other people to speak about you, and I think the first one up is going to be your boss. And just, oh, you want to be cleanup? Oh, he's going to be cleanup. But 16 years working for this guy, you are definitely going to heaven.
Amen.
And I don't know how in the hell you lasted 16 years. I really don't. But who wants to speak? Lieutenant Colonel, you want to say a few words?
Of course.
Of course.
I didn't have the fortune that you had to have her very long. I only had her for about a year, maybe 16 months or something like that.
Okay, go ahead and sit down now.
Just kidding.
But the job that we had, we were to inspect and supervise 20 legal offices throughout the Air Force in the Western Circuit, which is out in California. So we had to travel, we had to fly, we drove, we had a great time. And even though I was an officer and she was an NCO, that didn't matter because we had such a wonderful relationship. She has a great sense of humor, and she was able to do those things and communicate so well with the NCOs that were all at the different offices. She conducted conferences with them, taught them a lot. She was the mother hen. And it was very sad that, well, it was a time that it was going to come sooner or later that she was going to have to say goodbye. And I was sadly disappointed, not only because she had become a good friend, but also because I played golf with her. So we really enjoyed ourselves together. She, of course, retired and came to Florida and got involved with the Veterans Affairs right away. She continued to do those kinds of things. She's very concerned, and the word exemplary isn't big enough. The letters aren't large enough to suit her. She's extraordinary. Okay, so you're lucky.
I know.
All of you are lucky to have contact with her, and she'll continue to do the things that she's been doing all along in her own way, in her own time.
Anyone else before our general counsel speak? You're up, buddy.
I'm going to try to make it through this without ugly tears. A little over 16 years ago, I had been here about 6 months, and I remember arguing with Major McInerney, who was the Major of Administration then, about what the hiring process was going to look like for me to hire the agency's first paralegal as the agency's first in-house counsel. And he's telling me about oral boards, and I think he got so angry at me that his toupee started flapping up and down. And needless to say, as many of you know me, at some point I told him that this is how I thought it was going to be, and that's how it ended up being. I was going to do the interviews, and I interviewed a host of people. And one day, this tiny, relatively soft-spoken, I find out former MP from the Air Force comes in. And I realized then that though we couldn't be more different, she was exactly what I needed and what this agency needed to build a law office within the sheriff's office. And, you know, there's a lot of jokes that go around here about the empire that Fetterman is building. And yes, I am, and I have, and shall continue to do so. But we built it together. And we built it with the interest of what will best serve the sheriff's office and the people of St. Lucie County. For the last 16 plus years, Kathy, you have been my friend, you've been my confidant, you have been my loyal advisor. You have been my junior lawyer at times. There are days that I've just had to point to the bar license on the wall to say, that's the thing that distinguishes us, sorry, I win. Because I just sometimes have to do that. But through it all, there's never been a question about your loyalty, your commitment, your dedication, and just how much you care. I have been fortunate to do a lot of wonderful things here at the Sheriff's Office, and the Sheriff has given me personally incredible opportunities. I could not have achieved a single one of them without you. You've changed my life in so many ways. I had, honestly, prior to knowing Kathy, no true understanding, and I've said this before. I said it actually I was once a state representative, I said it at the Veterans Day service. I had no true understanding of what Veterans Service meant until I met Kathy. Because I had no experience with it. She really helped me, and Vince as well, helped me to understand the sacrifice, helped me to understand that commitment and service to our country. And that is just one of the many ways that you have changed me as a human being. I have a few things for you.
Better be mine.
Now, a couple of years ago, I had the pleasure in building my empire of having Deborah, where's Deborah? Deborah Wright join our team in the General Counsel's office. And so when Deborah joined our team, Kathy saw an opportunity for her to have her own office to sit on, and she decided she'd rather hear the flushing toilets of the ladies' room than my mellifluous voice every day, okay? I didn't understand why she'd rather hear the flushing than me, but I remember one day,
That office is awful.
one day she comes to me and she says, you know, She says, you know, I could you help me with this?
Sure. What do you need?
So she says, she comes and we are having one of our meetings, and she says, I just want you to know, Adam, since I've moved, I really miss you. And I was so touched. I was so touched. So since you missed me, and I know you won't get to see me every day now.
Oh no, I knew it. Yep.
You know,
Oh my God.
this would be a perfect, gift. Vince, maybe the living room. I don't know. But
On this.
maybe this will make it.
Yeah.
Maybe this will make the separation a little easier for you.
Did you take that off your bedroom ceiling?
Yes.
Maybe that will make.
Oh,
Maybe that will make
Jeez.
retirement a little less painful.
Unclothed, maybe. I don't know.
And this is a little something for you and Vince to enjoy.
Did our crime scene?
I said this, there was when there was a longevity awards last year. I shared this with some of the folks present, and I hope that you understand this. How, as funny as this may seem, how truly important this is. If a Catholic Republican and a Jewish Democrat
Yes.
can love each other as much as we do, there is hope for this.
Amen.
I have confidence Jessica will fill your shoes, but it is a challenge. But that doesn't mean that she will replace you, because nothing ever will. I love you, I will miss you, and I'm so grateful for you.
Yeah.
Thank you, Adam. Thank you.
Short speech.
Very short. I appreciate everybody who's come here today. It's been wonderful. All the people here, I've touched, 16 years and 8 months has seen a lot going on in the agency. And I've seen some of you from deputy going all the way up to captain. It's just really great to see the growth in the agency. And I'm going to miss you guys. You've all been great. Never had any problems with anybody, and I can never say that in any workplace, ever have any problem with anybody. So I really feel blessed, and thank you. I want to thank my husband Vince and my daughter Amy. Nobody's seen her before, but she's here. She has been great.
The table.
And she's been, great support and everything. And I want to especially thank Bill Maffei for coming up here today. He retired me from the Air Force in April 2001 is when we had the retirement ceremony. And they live in Plantation right now. He retired 2 years later.
Yeah, great in 2002.
And so he was still at Travis Air Force Base at the time, and we flew back to Travis Air Force Base in California to see him retire. So this is his third retirement, and I'm really happy that he's here with me today. So it speaks a lot. I thank you for the time to work with you, Adam. It's been wonderful. I've learned a lot. And I appreciate your openness to our conversations. That when I really feel adamant about something, you're open and you listen to me, and so I appreciate all that, And Sheriff, has been wonderful. I know your time is coming here soon.
729 days.
Right? And I've had the pleasure of working with you this entire time that I've been here, and you've been a wonderful sheriff. Seen Deputy Chief Deputy Brian, seen you from the beginning, and you've been great. So and everybody here has been great. So, and I appreciate all your support. So I don't know what else. Oh, and I want to say thank you for my dogs. They've been supportive through all this stuff. Too.
Jeez.
Kathy, what was your rank in the Air Force?
A
Master Sergeant.
East Heaven.
And when I found, and Vince, what was yours?
Master Sergeant.
Yeah. When I found that out, again, you work with people, and somebody said, oh yeah, Kathy was in the Air Force. When I found out what her rank was, because I had a brother who was a command master chief in the Navy, I thought, boy, these are the best and the brightest. I mean, you don't get to that level just by doing your tours of duty. But I think what I've always appreciated about Canton, we had some major losses here in our agency. And every now and then, of course, I might do a debriefing, might come by. Some of them have been your family, and others have been friends, and some of them have been our colleagues here. And when I knew a little bit about Kathy's background, I know my brother's cut from that same cloth. There's a presence. When you talk to people, you gotta feel safe, right? And I felt like at times that who debriefs the debriefers, and every now and then Kathy and I would just talk about some of her losses in her family, some of mine, and some of ours. And I want to say thank you. You listen with your heart. You're a good person, Kathy.
Thank you, Josh. Thank you. Miss you all.
Vince, go ahead.
So, how many of you ever imagined her with weapons strapped to her belt?
As big as her.
As big as her, as big as she is.
Yeah.
When I met her, this was at Aviano Air Base, Italy. I was the leadership school commandant, and I kept having all these students come through because to make NCO status, they had to pass my course. And it was a pass-fail course. There was no A, B, C, D, E, none of that. And I keep hearing about this Sergeant Guittari, Tech Sergeant Guittari. Who is it? Well, one night I'm driving in the gate, had to see it, and of course they had a couple unruly people that weren't following the rules. There's this short little lady there, strapped up. Well, you guys were carrying Berettas then, right?
Yeah, Berettas, yeah.
Berettas. Now remember, 4'10", full weapons belt. That's the first time I finally got to meet this lovely lady that all her students and fellow airmen were calling. So 16 years. And she was in one of the very first classes that the Air Force ever allowed women into the law enforcement side. So she has been involved with a lot of firsts. So a lot of pride, a lot of fun shared. This is a great family.
Mr. Congressman.
Vince, how many years you been married?
30.
32. Wow, that in itself a milestone. Wow.
And I've had some of those same.
How about anybody else?
Amy, do you
No.
want to say something? No? Okay. All right, thank you.
Well, I just want to say that these pictures can be ordered on Tinder. The money generated will support the Florida Sheriff's Youth Ranches. So I encourage you to go ahead and buy as many as you want. And Kathy, Vince, all the best in your next chapter of life. God bless you all, and thank you for everything both of you did. I mean, it's been a year, Vince, and we miss you, and Kathy, we're going to miss you. God bless you.
Thank you, Sheriff.
I didn't say anything. I'm nervous.
Yeah.
I'm proud of it.